What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Connor Pill Show. Today, hitting you with a very special episode, one I've been excited to do for quite some time now. This is actually going to be featuring my literal longest friend I've had, like the person I've known the longest besides my family that I'm still in contact with. I'll let her give a little more of an intro, but welcome to the show, Sydney White. How you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing so good. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
Hey, it's all good. I
Um,
remember the same feeling.
but we're basically family. Like my
Yeah,
family calls your family. Like we vacation together.
yeah,
I don't know. We go way back since
way
when
back.
my sister danced in Crazy Frog in multi-age
Yeah,
elementary
literally.
school.
Holy crap. Yeah, I was in first grade and you were in kindergarten then, right?
Yeah,
I went, yeah, oh my,
literally
yeah, that's
babies.
insane.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Because yeah, the next closest people I know that like from that long ago, like I don't even really have many friends from middle school that I keep in touch with still. So it's like well, we just break the record by a long shot for
And I
sure.
feel like we like stayed close too, like
Yeah,
consistently just stayed super close. And it's weird too that you knew my sister first.
I know that is so weird. Like,
Like that's so
yeah,
random.
yeah, I was gonna get into this, but I guess it's a good segue now. Like, remember when me like us and the Lockwoods and you guys would all hang out, and then it'd be like the older kids and the younger kids, and we'd be
Yeah,
like
literally
so
they
like
would like shun
separated.
us. Like they
Yeah,
would just be like, "You're young." Like he's a year older, and they would be like, "You're too young. You need to like go to the young kids. Like do your own
so
thing."
funny. That's insane to me. Like I just can't believe that. Little kids are vicious. Honestly, I feel like.
They are. Well, my sister would bully me. You wouldn't bully me, but
Yeah, yeah. I was more
definitely
just like a yeah. But
there's
that's
definitely the
so
two
funny.
the two sides, the older kids and the younger kids, but
Yeah, which is so weird looking back at it because like in college, like it's completely normal for like freshmen and seniors to be friends, and like I'm sure you relate to that. But like it's so weird. Like I feel
I
like as
mean,
you get older, it just like that changes. Like in middle school, if you're like an eighth grader and you're like friends with a sixth grader, it's like what? Like what the
yeah,
heck?
it's like
But
that's so weird. Like
yeah,
you're so dorky. But like I like my friend group at home, like you guys are all older than me, so
right. And yeah,
that's like
I
crazy.
feel that too because like I feel like I have a pretty good mix. But I was talking with Maddie like here at school, me and Maddie are kind of the only like I mean we're friends with other seniors, but like I feel like our core group, everyone's like a junior or below. So it's like it's gonna be really strange like
Yeah.
because all my roommates, two juniors and a sophomore and my brother. But yeah, it's weird. It's crazy. But
I feel like here too, we're friends with a lot of younger people. Cause like too, for my sorority, I'm in the pledge class because I rushed as a sophomore. So
right.
like everyone was freshmen when I rushed as a sophomore. So
Right. Okay. Yeah, I know we have similar stuff in DSP here as well.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, I guess you kind of mentioned it there. So I guess one of the things, as you know, probably from listening to past episodes, I like to like get into a little bit about what the guest does with their time and like what the current situation is, what's going on. So you hit that a little bit, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are like, wow, a real life sorority girl on the podcast.
They're
Let's
like,
hear about it. So I
wow,
guess just talk a little bit.
basic. Just
Yeah. I guess just talk a little bit about like what your experience has been like with that, not just the sorority, just everything in general, like what you're doing in school, what you hope to do in the future, stuff like that. So take it away.
yeah, so as far as the sorority goes, I rushed at the beginning of last year, which is kind of unfortunate because obviously now we're in this situation. Um, so I made like a few really close friends. Like I live with my big right now, like we're best friends, and me and my roommate from freshman year who are literally inseparable are in the same
Gosh,
sorority. Yeah,
gosh,
so
gosh.
I've gotten a lot out of it. But right when we were supposed to like get in the gist, like doing more philanthropy things, and we were supposed to have a formal, and then we got sent home.
Yeah.
So that kind of stinks. But I mean, it's still nice to have like those girls to like go to. And I'm in Alpha Gamma Delta, which is a very academically like based sorority. So that's also nice to have those resources when we're not in actual classes. because I don't know about other people, but it's kind of hard right now to like meet with professors. Like I feel weird doing it over Zoom for some reason. I like face to face
Yeah,
interaction.
I feel that.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we're still doing our philanthropies like fighting hunger, which is a huge thing right now. So I feel like it's really important. All the things we're doing for our service hours and stuff like that, I feel really fulfilled with the philanthropy I'm in.
Good.
But yeah, I guess that's it with the sorority, just because I'm waiting till we can actually be in person and do like sisterhoods in person, things
Right.
like that.
For sure.
But I'm also an education major, which is unfortunate because I'm supposed to be in a classroom right now teaching with my little kiddos. And usually I work in a school doing tutoring for a pause program for fourth and fifth grade, and they give me good laughs and good stories, and I can't do that right now. So I'm just waiting to be back in the classroom teaching with my kids. So hopefully next year we're definitely in person, but hopefully my job is continuing also.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear some insight into that. I know, like, I'm just like shaking my head over here because everyone has like just the corona just really
It
messed
messed it
everything up.
messed it up. But you know
Lack of a
what
better word,
also?
but
I feel like I appreciate like seeing people and talking to my friends so much more. Like I feel so much like, not that I wasn't happy before, but it's not, I'm
yeah,
not going to pass up any plans. Like I'm literally going to do everything I can to like see people in person and like go to events. Like cuz I used to complain about walking to class cuz I'm lazy, but
right.
like I want to go to, like I would do anything to go to an 8 a.m. and just sit in a
I
lecture hall. Like
literally I could not agree with you more. Like I remember one of the first podcasts when I had Aiden on, we were talking about how it kind of actually obviously like I'm like I was kind of looking at silver linings. Like obviously we all would have preferred for Corona not to happen. But
right.
like I guess one of the good things to come out of it, and I kind of echo your sentiments here, is just the fact that again, like you don't take anything for granted, and also just the fact that I feel like it forced a lot of people to kind of evaluate and like, okay, who are the people like I really can't live without? Like at a time when you can't really like see anyone, it's kind of like okay, like it's not just going to be the same like run of the mill like oh this person, but I feel like it just really forced you to kind of I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but it's kind of like I'm grateful for the fact that I know like even this summer and like over quarantine, like I feel like we've known each other forever, but I feel like we got closer
Oh
in a lot
yeah.
of ways. And I just feel like our whole group kind of experienced that. But so yeah, definitely, I like to look at the glass half full all the time. So I definitely agree with your statement there where it's like it's unfortunate, but in a lot of ways it's taught us a few things about how to live life.
And
So
also me and my mom were talking about it. It's like, okay, there was the pandemic before the roaring 20s. We're like back there, like we're all gonna have a
yeah,
great time after this. We're gonna be all be like just having our living our best lives, like
yeah.
going, seeing, like meeting a bunch of people and hugging everyone and just being like,
Yeah.
I love life. I love people.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. My friends make fun of me because I take it like so far, but I'm like, I never want personal space again. Like, I want to be in a crowded bar being sweat on. I
oh
want
yeah.
someone to like accidentally throw up on me and like
Oh
have to
my gosh, I
dry a
would take
shirt,
that
like
any day.
literally, and everyone's like, "Whoa, that's a little far," but I'm like,
And
maybe
like
it
throw
is,
up on
but
my shoe,
you
do
get what
it.
I'm saying. Like, it's just, oh, I cannot just concerts packed. Like, I literally want to be annoyed that I have to wait in a line to buy a drink. Like, I want
Yes.
things to go so far, and they will. You're right. Like the Roaring Twenties.
Yeah. No,
It's gonna be awesome.
I want someone to accidentally step on the heel of my foot and I will thank them. I will thank
Yeah.
them
No,
for it.
literally,
Like,
literally. You're like, wow, this is amazing. So,
yes,
so yeah, at least we got at least we got that going for us.
literally.
And another thing I'm just gonna add is I feel like you know how it's a big joke where like with our parents or whatever, be like, our grandparents, like back in my day, well, we had to walk uphill both ways.
Oh
This
my
is like the
gosh.
ultimate, like our kids
Back in my
don't
day.
know what the heck happened. Like they're gonna complain, like, oh, I don't want to go to school today. I'm like, you know what? Back in my like back in my
Like
day, I
back in
couldn't see
my
my friends
day.
for 4 months. Like, you know what I mean?
Literally, like back in my day, I had a parade on my birthday.
Yeah.
Like all this
Yep.
random, like that doesn't happen. We sat and
I
watched like
know.
special, like the Disney had the special where they did sing-alongs, whatever, and we would just sit
Yeah,
there, and that would like made your week. Like
I know.
that was all you had. That's like crazy.
And even looking back to like a year ago today, like how different things were. Like it's
Oh
really
my
it's really unreal.
God.
Obviously, we're still dealing with the effects of the pandemic, but I've recently just been really optimistic and really hopeful because I feel like for a while, like in back April, May, June, whatever, it was like part of it was really hard just because like there was no end in sight. Like you couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, because you're like, there's no way that they're gonna like find the vac. Like
Yeah,
this can't happen that
it just seemed
fast.
hopeless. It was like,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen here? But because it kind of went like at first, I'm thinking back, I'm glad we didn't know it was gonna last over a year when it first started. Because remember, when they first sent us home, we're like, ah, this sucks, but like it'll be a few weeks.
I was like a long
Yeah,
spring break. Like I'm
yeah.
okay. I'm tan from Florida. Like
Right, right. We were all like, sure, sure. Like I remember I was at the tracks with Josh and Maddie, and we were like, oh yeah, we'll just like do our homework at Panera together and like, oh,
literally.
class, whatever. But yeah, and then it kind of went to this period of like hopelessness, like, oh my God, this is never gonna end. But then like I feel like with the turn of the new year, like things just started really, you could see that light at the end of the tunnel. Like you could just see, so I don't know, people are getting vaccinated. I know I have my second dose coming up here. What's
Yeah,
that
I
like
got
at
my second.
Yeah, you got yours too?
Yeah, mine's on April 20th actually.
Okay,
I'm
mine's
kind of worried.
21st.
The first one, I for some reason I got like sick off the first one. It was just 24
Okay.
hours, but I like got up and almost passed out and I had to like crawl. It was so pathetic. I was
Wow.
crawling to the kitchen like trying to get a chicken patty like so I could be okay. It was awful. I was like pouring the Brita into my mouth on the floor. Like it was a pathetic look for
Big
me, but
chicken patty girl. Big
oh
chicken.
yeah.
No, I relate to that. That's funny. Yeah, I definitely affects people different because I mean my first dose, I had like a little bit of a sore arm, but that's it. And I know people say the second dose is worse, so hopefully nothing there. But even if it is, like I always say, 100% worth it.
Yeah,
I'll
worth
take
it. I'll be
anything.
say yeah,
Uh,
whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, but wow, I don't know, it's just like it's just really promising. Like obviously where we're at with the vaccine, it's the weather's nice, so like even if when things are outside, it's gonna be awesome. Like I don't know, hot tub season at the
Yeah,
white.
we got the
Let's
hot
go.
tub. We got I could go out with you guys now because I'm
Yes,
21. Like
21. The baby of the squad made it.
I know. Yeah, because I would be like the DD. Like I would just be sitting there just like, well, here we are. Still fun,
Right,
but
right. We all got to go through that phase, but I know how
right.
you feel for sure. Yeah,
Makes it work.
that's awesome. But yeah, it's so yeah. When do you guys get out a few weeks earlier than we do, right? At ISU.
Yeah,
When's your last day?
I think it's like May. Well, I know like our finals week is the first week of May.
Okay, I gotcha.
So I don't have finals because for teaching it's like all project based, especially elementary ed, it's like project based. But
Okay.
yeah, I have like one final, random final, like all my classes basically end next week. And then I have one like math final on May 5th that
Okay.
I'm gonna like forget about. Like I'm gonna be like when
Yeah. Yeah. No,
what
that's
about you
awesome.
guys?
Yeah, so we a little bit. It sounds like we're just pushed back like 2 weeks. So um, I think for us around May 5th is like our like when what is it actually? I graduate the 15th, which holy crap,
Ooh,
that's scary.
are you
Um,
that's so exciting.
yeah,
That's
but
weird.
we'll get into that. But yeah, it's been
Yeah.
throwing me for a loop for sure. But yeah, I think I also am kind of a little bit iffy on it because I haven't had like finals during finals week since sophomore year. How they do it in business when you're an upperclassman is you either I still have like tests and projects. They're just like before finals week, which is kind of nice because then like that last week before I graduate, I'll just get to like
Oh
finish
my
up.
gosh. I should come
Um,
down because I'll be back.
oh,
Well,
100%.
yeah, I
Do
think
it.
it'll be kicked in by then too. Like
Yeah, no,
completely.
I think yeah, it will. It will because you said you're getting your second dose the 20th.
Okay, I'm coming down to
Do
Utah.
it. 100%.
Okay.
I'll come pick you up if that's what it like
Deal,
literally
deal.
I'll come. Like let's get it. Bet. Amazing. Making plans on the podcast.
Plans made. You heard
Huh.
it live here. Not live, but you heard it first.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. No, that's amazing. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's when we end. So I think finals for us probably wrap up a little bit before that week, but doesn't really
That's
matter.
probably so weird because I know for me, like college has gone by so fast. Like think about, and also like it feels like we were just literally in like middle school making really weird like video stars and like stuff like
But I literally,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Like
I
it
literally have
feels
no
like that
idea.
was yesterday.
It's Sydney, it's insane because people, obviously we're getting to that time where people, anytime I talk to anyone that comes up and it's like, how are you feeling? And it's like, honestly, it's hard to even answer that question just because of how, like, people probably think like you're exaggerating when you're like, it goes by in the blink of an eye, but it literally does. Like,
It literally is.
I like stuff my freshman year, like, feels like yesterday. It's just insane. Like, I do not in any way, shape, or form feel like I should be graduating college right now. Like, it does not make any sense to me. And yeah, especially like reminiscing on our relationship. I literally had that written down as something to talk about. We'll get into that. But yeah, making those little music videos, like when we're like, I was like 10 or something, and like, I don't know. It's literally insane. Like
And
it's
also thinking about just like I don't know how like I've watched you grow and we're like different people in a good way because I was so annoying. Like I and even my like best friends now they're like you were annoying and I'm like I know like but we had character development and now we're
oh
like
yeah,
here and like we're growing into like I don't know just like watching you like is so inspiring because like what you're one of the most like driven people. It's like so cool to watch that. And I've talked about it with like my family and my mom and stuff, but that's like insane to watch it like happen in real time and we've always stayed like close enough where I'm literally like talking to you
right.
during that. It's like crazy.
Wow. Well, thanks so much. Sid. That means a lot coming from you. And I know, I feel nothing but the same way. Awesome. Super, super grateful to have you as a friend. And I'm super proud of everything you've done as well. So
Right back
you make
at
me
you.
cry on my own podcast, Sid.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I'm like, oh, my
But
makeup's like
yeah,
running.
yeah, but yeah, it's pretty insane. Like it's weird because it's not all like freaked out. Like I feel like I'm ready and I'm excited like for the next step, but it's just I feel like I just say I gotta leave it at bittersweet. Like it's very bittersweet. It's
Yeah,
like I'm
that's how like
excited. The summer's gonna be fun. I'm excited for my job and everything, but it's like it's hard. It's gonna be hard to leave this behind for
it's
sure.
definitely like a shift. I was gonna ask too, like, do you feel like you did everything you wanted to do? Like, do you feel fulfilled in your college experience? I know this year was kind of like
Yeah.
tough. You could always come back and just stay at ISU too.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
like for
I'm sure
next
I'll take
year,
advantage of that at least once.
do your senior year over with me. But yeah, like do you feel like do you have like any regrets or anything like that?
Honestly, it's cool to talk about this, and that's a good question because feel like I've always tried to live my life in a way that's like looking back, I don't want to regret things, and I want to say like I really made the most of that. Like I feel like I say this all the time in like YouTube videos or podcasts or just talking to people. And I remember like graduating high school and just like like the morning I was graduating, like sitting at home, like putting my tie on, like getting all ready and whatever. And I remember just looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, Connor Pills, you freaking made the most of every freaking day. Like I honestly, given the circumstances, I feel the same exact way about college. I think obviously it's tough because there's a lot of things that I would have done or could have done that I didn't get to do, as is the case with literally everyone on the planet right now. But I think despite that, even looking at solely this year, I think we've managed to do such a good job of just making the most of it and living every day. Obviously, I'm one of the most like social butterfly people and I haven't
Oh
been to a
yeah.
bar on campus this year, which is
You are
obviously
like you'll like say yes to every opportunity, which is
yeah,
like that's why you don't have regret. I'm like a very similar way because if you look back, you're gonna be like, I don't know what I would have been missing if I said no. So might as well just say yes. And if you have a bad time, it's a memory and it's an
yeah,
experience and you're not just sitting like in your room doing nothing, you know?
absolutely. But yeah, so that's a great question. I honestly do feel like I guess regrets, like I regret the pandemic happening, but that's not my
Right.
control.
Yeah, it's
But
not you didn't start it, it's
right,
fine.
as far as everything else, honestly, like there's little things here and there that you wish, like for example, I guess one of the things I wish I could have like gotten closer to some people in DSP and spent more time with them. but it's
Mhm.
kind of like you kind of just you can't do everything. Like especially in college, you kind of got to. So for me, like the other guys is my main thing. Those are my main people. And everyone has that, but I guess just like little things like that. But overall, looking at college, I really think I made the absolute most of what I could. I mean, just looking
It
over my
seems
4
like
years,
it from looking
I
from an outside
had,
perspective, like you guys are always having a good time, like with each other, like with your close
yeah,
friends, and
right.
that's cool to see.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I hope when you get to my point next year, you'll feel the same way. I'm excited for you and people in your position because I really feel like next year will be pretty much smack dab back to normal.
Yeah, I don't know about U of I, but we're already they said we're in person next year. Like I'm
Yeah,
registered for classes.
yeah, us too, which is
So
huge.
I'm excited. I don't know exactly how it's working. I think it's like less people, like they have more classes, less people.
Okay.
But like I don't care. Like
Oh yeah.
however we can, like I'll walk to class. I'll sit in the quad all day. I don't care.
Oh, for real, yeah. No, that's awesome because I think for a while there it was looking like, oh my God, like is college ever going to be normal again? And obviously, people are always like, oh, if only you were like a junior. I was like, I know, trust me, I know. Like I also wish that,
But
but
also you had like a good last year too. Like
oh
I
yeah,
know last year you said was like one of the best years. So it's
yeah,
kind of like everything happens for a reason. Like maybe like this year wasn't as you expected, but like you had last year and it's not like this year was a complete bust, you know?
oh,
You
for
got
sure.
super close to people with your smaller group.
For sure. That's definitely a good takeaway. And I agree. Like I kind of looking back on this year, it's definitely not a year where I'm like, oh, that was kind of a throwaway. Like definitely some awesome stuff to come out of this year. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's interesting you bring up with that smaller group because obviously we felt this over quarantine this summer, like when things were safe to hang out again. Because I mean, I didn't see anyone. I know you didn't either. Like the time over your birthday, like we were still not seeing anyone. It was
Yeah,
like
literally it was
like
just
two
like
over 2 months. We are just not because that's just what was recommended. But eventually, things started to be a little more safer, get together outside, whatever. But yeah, I think really like, especially just thinking about this year, like Maddie's roommates, Kyle and Elena, and shout out to them. Like, we were not like close at all, just because like just things didn't work that way. But like, they're literally two of my closest friends now, and I don't think that may not have happened if not for the fact that that's just all we have is each other. Like
yeah.
we all weren't we all weren't like so. It's just interesting how things work like that.
Like literally I feel like like I know my friends in a way I don't think I would have ever known like anyone. And
Yeah,
especially even when we were in quarantine, I couldn't like see my friends in person. We would Zoom for
yeah,
like 4 hours and just like someone inside and out. They make so much more sense as a person, I guess. And it's so cool to like have that experience because I really don't think like before this situation that would have happened just because you were seeing so many people and you were doing so
yeah,
much, but all you had to do was like talk, like be like sit in your basement or sit in a room and kind of like talk, you
yeah.
know.
No, and that's what I was getting at before. It's just like that notion of you really had no other option but to get creative with the ways you're going to maintain your relationships. Because, I mean, introvert, extrovert, whatever you are, there's no way you're just going to go 3 months without like having a relationship with anyone. Like, there's just
Right.
no way. I mean, obviously, the family stuff is great, but like, you have your people you need to contact. So I think like, yeah, in a weird way, a time where I said this in the podcast with Aiden, I remember just because we were talking about that, but in a weird way, a time void of being able to see people actually made us see people more and appreciate people more and come
Agreed.
together more, even if it wasn't in a physical way. Um,
I think it's in a way we wouldn't have before either. Like I feel like a lot of people after this are gonna live a like life of no regrets more. Like
Definitely.
they're gonna take up their opportunities.
100%. And I think we've done a good job. It's gonna be. I'm thinking of like our kids listening to this episode one day. They're gonna be like, they cannot even imagine what.
You're gonna make me cry. Yeah, that's crazy though. They're
Honestly,
gonna be like,
like,
"What are they Zoom?
yeah,
Like, what's
yeah.
Zoom?"
So like, so honestly, big shout out to everyone out there. Literally everyone. You have freaking survived a freaking pandemic. Like,
Yeah, look at us.
my phone just started playing music. That was really weird.
Oh,
It might have
creepy
been like
ghost.
that.
That's a ghost. Oh my
That's
god.
yeah, it's a sign. But no, for real though, like everyone out there, big freaking shout out, big congrats. Like sometimes it seems like you have to be like losing weight during this time or like getting better grades or like blah blah blah, but you freaking did it. You survived. That
Yeah,
should be
you're just
enough. Like
getting through it.
this
And
is
that's like all you need to do. No one else had to like we are all living in this time period. Like no one else outside this time period will have to go through exactly what we went through. It'll never be like the same exact thing.
yeah, and honestly, like, and especially I feel like especially high school, college kids, I feel like that is just the hardest place to be right now.
Hmm.
But the fact that we've just, I don't know. So big shout out to us, pat on the back all around.
Thriving and surviving.
Yeah,
Thriving and
absolutely.
surviving.
So Sid, I know we've alluded to this a little bit, but we got quite a few funny stories that I feel like we should talk about.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm already laughing just thinking about some of them, but let's talk about like a few like so what should we start with? Maybe the music videos. People will probably be
Yeah.
interested to hear about that.
Yeah, so we were very lively children, I would say. Definitely in middle school, we were loud. We were a lot to handle. And we used to make, I don't know who out there remembers, but video stars. I don't even know if it's still a thing. I would still do it.
Man, I don't
But
know. I'll look it up right now.
yeah, literally. But basically you make your own music video. Like you have your songs on iTunes and you can make your own music videos. And we would have a lot of different ones. We'd get together the whole neighborhood crew and we'd attempt to dance and lip sync or sometimes we'd have theatrical ones. Like remember the one at the Dells to I
Yeah,
think it
it's
was
the
We
fun
Are
song,
Young
right? Yeah, yeah.
or something, and it was like everyone bullied, like all my friends were like get away, like it was so weird. I don't even know what the message we were trying to do, but it was like me
Yeah.
walking up to them and they're all like pushing me away. Like
This is fucking
I don't know
fun.
why we did that. That's not even what the song's about.
For some reason I remember like like someone was it Brian or maybe me? Like I feel like Brian like hit me with the remote and like broke the TV remote or something.
Yeah, he like threw it at you,
Yeah,
or yeah, I think he like threw it across the room and then it like hit you in the head or something.
yeah, that was so funny. I remember that because I think also that was right after we finished Wizard of Oz, wasn't it? So then we went there and we
Yeah,
were like still in the theatrics mood, right? And we wanted
yeah, we were all hyped up for
but
sure.
yeah, like also I just think about like it's literally still on my Instagram, by the way. I've never deleted an Instagram post. So if you guys want to scroll back all the way down,
Or if
it's
you
that
don't,
picture
like,
of
you really don't have to. Like, it's
yeah.
definitely
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. If you don't
optional.
want to the video, unfortunately the videos aren't there. I wish
Yeah.
that your iPod like that.
Yeah. So I have like my iPod has all these videos. Like, I don't even know how many we made, and they're all awful, but they all make me like cry laughing every
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
And I lost my iPod now because I don't know, it's somewhere, and I really hope someone found it in the trash and keeps it and finds me one day, like plugs it in, because
Uh,
those are like the
those are
best.
yeah.
They would go viral. Like
Oh
if
yeah.
we put them on like
So funny.
YouTube or TikTok, like we're famous from
If
that.
only the cloud was around back then. But
Yeah, literally.
no, but yeah, I remember that. So yeah, there's like that picture of me, you and Casey like jumping in the field and like it's all
Oh
color and
God.
everything.
Yeah, yeah, we used to like set up like our phone and take like
Yep,
jumping pictures.
yep.
And like, why did we do that? Like in the middle of a field, like, can you imagine driving past and seeing these kids in like midair? Like, that's so weird.
It's funny because it's kind of done like a full like a 360 since then, like full circle. Because back then it was doing that and it was like what? But now like think about people like set up their phones for TikToks. Like it's kind of the
Okay,
same thing,
true.
right?
Okay, good point. I didn't even think about. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do. We do
kind of
that
just
a
like
lot.
what the thing is. But I did look it up. Video Star is still an app available.
Okay,
You
so
should,
not sponsored. I wish it was
yeah,
not sponsored. Download VideoStar and make your own music
yeah,
video.
not
Send it in
sponsored
to
at all.
Connor.
Yeah, we'll play the best every week
Yeah,
on the
literally.
Counterfill show. But no, that's funny. The one really hilarious. Well, there's a lot of hilarious ones, but remember the one where were we at like the Statter's house or something? Like all the parents were having a party, and oh no, the Radex maybe. We were in the basement.
Are you talking about the
We were
gambling
making
party one?
yeah, and we
Oh,
were
okay,
making
okay,
the
good.
video, and I like so basically what happened is for everyone out there, I was not underage drinking, so I was like how I was probably like
That-
10 or like 11.
Yeah, literally, we were like, it was just like the parents all did their thing. They had their big party,
Yeah.
and everyone was gone at this point. So we just kind of went down there. We're like, we're gonna be in front of all this gambling stuff. We're gonna look so cool. Like,
We're gonna be sick.
yeah, literally.
And so I
The
picked
best
up a shot glass like in the video, just being like funny, like clearly not actually
being
drinking.
like, LOL, like this 10-year-old with a shot
Yeah.
glass.
And it was like it was in the video, and then there was like still like someone pussied out of their shot and didn't
Yeah.
finish it.
Someone didn't
So
want to finish their
there was
shot.
legit like still like a half a shot in there, and it just went all over my face, like
It was awesome.
mouth, in my
And he
eye.
just started like gagging, like throwing up.
Yeah.
Like I was like, wow, that
Just
is
think about, I think about like tasting hard alcohol at like 11 years old. Like,
unexpected too.
yeah,
Totally
unexpected. Like,
unexpected.
yeah, even now, like if I was expecting to drink water and like alcohol, I was like, what the heck?
Oh
But
yeah, I would
yeah,
vomit. That's
that was,
yeah, I would
looking back,
not
that
do
is
that.
freaking hilarious. That is
That was
so
so, you
funny.
started pretty sure you started like crying, and then we started crying because we were
Yeah,
laughing. We're
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, he's
literally.
gonna be drunk. Like
Yeah, like let's film him.
yeah,
Like,
literally.
oh my God, that is so. Yeah, that's. I don't know if anyone out there. I know there's one. We do still have access to the Blame It on the Boogie one. That's
I
on
was
Facebook.
thinking we've been playing that song over here too, just because it like
It's a banger. That same thing
it's
here.
a
Like I heard
banger.
that and I was like, wow, that's actually a really good version. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
so that's the one that you can watch if you guys want to peruse the Facebook of Connor Pills and try to
Yeah,
find that.
you'll see the character development already.
Oh
If you
yeah.
watch this
Oh,
and
yeah.
watch that, it's kind of like
We still had our, like me and Brian still had our eyeshadow on or whatever from, or Matt,
yeah,
not
the
eyeshadow,
eyeliner. That was Wizard of
eyeliner
Oz
from
too.
Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz. Yeah. So, oh, what a
Oh,
good time. What an amazing time.
what a good time.
We really go way back, Sid. It's pretty awesome.
Literally, there's like so much, and then we have like we used to have a diary together, and
Yeah.
we'd just be like Connor and Sydney like pizza, like literally. And then I
Yeah.
guess like we got in a fight because I crossed out like every page. I put like an X, so I don't know what happened. You
Yeah,
must
so
have made me mad.
for the listeners out there, so or viewers now on YouTube.
Oh yeah, true.
So Sydney, was that for my birthday a couple of years ago that you dug that out and gave it to me?
I think it was Secret Santa, like
Oh yeah,
earlier.
right. You're
Yeah.
right. So basically, this journal she's talking about, we like I feel like back in the day, like we pretended we were like American Idol judges.
Oh
And then,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we
We
were
sit
like,
in
I
like
don't know.
chairs and just be like
Yeah.
pretend that we were Simon Cowell or something.
You know, every kid likes to have those fantasy dress up stuff. So anyway, we would do that, and then a couple of years ago, Sid gave me this book, and I was like, oh, that's so, like I was looking through, like that's so cute, and then I all of a sudden get to a part where everything's just like crossed out, and it's like
I was I'm an Aries. For you who are into astrology, I'm an Aries, so like I have that inner rage, you know, like it's
I must have
there.
done something to really piss Sydney off because this you do not want to see that. That was gnarly, but it is a really fun memory to look back at that. But,
Literally. Yeah, I want to like picture me in my room, like my little
yeah,
like self, just
Yeah.
like crossing it off.
That's so
So
funny.
embarrassing.
Yeah, man, I'm sure there's a ton more we could think of, but yeah, we've just really like
Yeah.
as far as memories go, there's not anyone in my life that like besides my direct family that like I've probably made more with over time just because I mean here I am, I'm 22 years old now, you're 21 now.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we're
I
literally,
just got like butter. That's so
right?
weird.
Like we're thinking like I met you when I was like, how old are you in first grade? Like my math could be really off here, like 7, 6?
No, it's young. Yeah, I was like was that in kindergarten. I was like 5.
Okay, yeah. So
So
geez,
you,
holy
yeah.
Sydney, we've almost known each other for like 20 years. Like in like a couple of
Oh
years,
my
20 years.
God.
That is nuts. I don't feel
What if
like
I
I'm
just like
alive for
passed
20 years.
out? What if I just like, whoa,
Yeah,
that's
for
crazy.
real.
That's insane though. That's
Yeah,
insane.
that's actually nuts. But yeah, so those are definitely some awesome stories. I'm sure we could talk way longer about those, but
Oh my
just
gosh.
kind of moving into I always like to do this. I kind of like I was talking about earlier, and I know like you like to think of as well. I kind of like to look at silver linings and look at the ways that we've been able to like get through this and better ourselves and cope and adjust. So I was kind of just curious to hear from you. I know we've got into this a little bit, like just personally talking, but what do you think if you want to share like your main takeaway from the whole year / pandemic, or
Um,
it could be something that you like learned to appreciate more, or just something overall that you found more enjoyment out of, like during the pandemic? I don't know, kind of
Um,
an open-ended question, but
yeah, for sure. So I think my main takeaway is just to like actually live in the moment, because I before this was actually a person who would worry about the future and like what's going to happen later, how is this going to like, I don't know, how is this going to affect me later? But you kind of just have to like live in the moment and be um present in time and with the people you're with. And also I feel like now, like when I talk to people, I want to know more about like them as people, because I feel like people are so important, and I didn't realize that before. Like I was a people person before. I'm going to be a teacher,
right,
but you don't realize like how big of a part they have, like other people have on your happiness, like your friends and your family and even random strangers. Like it's a big thing. And to check in on your friends and make sure that they're good, because their happiness will also affect your happiness. Like the people you love, like that's part of your like heart, that's like your happiness. So I think that's definitely my biggest takeaway.
yeah, I love that. That's well said. That's awesome, and I definitely agree with that and echo those sentiments there. And happy to have you as one of the people in my life. That
Yeah, literally, yeah, we definitely have many memories and many more to come, for sure.
absolutely many more. It's crazy. Just
Yes.
yeah, it's absolutely insane to think about that. But yeah, that's awesome. That's well said, Sid. So I think we're coming in on time here, but thank you so much for coming on. I know you said you were nervous, but I think you killed it. I think it's gonna be a great
Thanks for
episode.
having me. You made me feel comfortable. Like I feel like it was just like a normal conversation. So
Right. Right. I love to keep it like that because I feel like I mean, obviously it's going to be a natural conversation between two people who've known each other that long
right.
and are friends. But yeah, I like
I
to
was like,
keep
what if
it.
I sound like a robot? I'm just sitting here like really awkward, but
No, I remember feeling the same way, like, because kind of what inspired me to start a podcast was when I was on Matt Cozy's podcast. And it was just, I remember that at first, like being so nervous because, like, here's this guy that I'm like, I perform in front of people all the time. I've been performing since I'm like 3, like, but like getting on that pod, I was like, like,
yeah,
you're
I was
good.
like, do I take notes about what I should say? Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. But once
I
you get into it, yeah. So I hope you had a lot of fun. Sounds like you did.
had a
Um,
blast.
yeah. Thanks so much again. Love you. Appreciate you coming on. Happy belated 21. I wish I could have been there, but we'll definitely make up for it this summer.
No, love and appreciate you, and can't wait for this. This summer is gonna be one for the books for sure.
That'd be unreal. So with that, thank you so much, Sydney White. Thanks so much for coming on. I'll link Sydney's whatever she wants me to link down below in the description. Thank you guys for listening, whether on YouTube, right in front of us, seeing our faces, or on Apple, Spotify, whatever. Really appreciate you guys for coming back. Stay tuned, hang in there. Things are getting awesome. Things are looking up. We see that light at the end of the tunnel. Peace out, everyone. Have a good one.